AutoZone, home of some of the worst help you fix your car people I have ever met in my life.
To absolutely nobody.
Life isn't great as it seems. You're living my wildest dreams. You're counting my money in green. I got money in a.
What's up, YouTube? It is the next day. That's how long I was tired. And I gotta make a run to the store real quick. I gotta pick up some of that Loctite, some of the blue, so that way this won't happen again. And I also need to stop by like an auto parts store so I can pick up a alternator belt. Because for my setup, I have the TSX, my original TSX crank pulley, which is a little bit larger than the K20 pulleys. And that race kit for the electric water pump, it comes with a serpentine belt that is that fits that smaller K20 crank pulley. So instead of swapping crank pulleys, I want to keep what I got on there because it's fine, there's no biggie. Just go grab another little belt, you know, it only costs a few bucks. Grab that from the store real quick and pick up some more oil. All right, that's one part down. Now to get the oil and the Loctite and stuff like that. Why didn't I get it all from one spot? Well, because Advanced Auto Parts has the belt that I need, and I have one of those little membership cards or whatever at AutoZone. So when I go over there and grab my oil and all that stuff and put it on the card, then I get my discount, baby. And that's how you build and ball on a budget, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I take as many shortcuts as I can, you know, money-wise. If I can save $1, if I can save 25 cents or a penny, I'm saving it. AutoZone, home of some of the worst help you fix your car people I have ever met in my life. Man, I love when they ask that question, hey, what kind of vehicle is this for? Or what kind of engine? And I'm like, dude, just trust me, just don't even worry about it. What y'all know about that snake skin steering wheel? All right, got the Loctite in blue. Got my belt and got a big old jug of oil. Now time to do the fun part. Probably just gonna throw in another time lapse. But before I do that, I gotta pick up my kids from school. All right, well, it's been about 1,000,000 hours later. It's like 11 o'clock at night, yeah. And yeah, I got the oil drained. I'm about to go ahead and pull the oil pan off, swap that thing out, and then get up top and start installing the kit again. Get everything with Loctite on it and stuff like that. Get everything bolted down nice, and get the rest of the harness off. The harness is sold already, and then I'll start putting on the new Ktuned harness. Got the oil pan off. Oil pickup looks just fine. Thank God for that. For all the crazy driving I be doing. Everything's good to go down here. Except for this right here. Look at that, where the inspection plate got smashed. Look how close that is, dude. It's like right at the edge. I'm gonna bend it out just a little bit just in case, just to make sure it doesn't hit. I mean, well, it doesn't. I had the engine running and stuff and it doesn't touch, but it's retardedly close. Uncomfortably close. Time to fix that. And I'm sure by now one of you internet, you know, gurus were probably like, hey, when he was picking up his parts and stuff like that, I never seen him go and get an oil filter. That's kind of stupid to put new oil in without doing that. But that's because I keep those on hand anyway. Stocked up. Honda oil filters, always. Part number for you guys. All right, back to the install. All fresh and new now. The Ktuned magnetic drain plug in there. Torqued down to 29 foot-pounds for those who are wondering. The oil pan comes with hardware too, except for these right here. Those are just nuts because there's a stud in there. But yeah, everything all snug. Got Honda Bond on there. Gonna let that cure overnight. Trying to get the rest of this stuff put together. All right, got the battery removed for now, and just want to show you guys like where I have my power cables going. Originally, I had one extra power wire running off of the starter all the way around the block here and up the side and to the battery. And then this power wire right here runs from the fuse box that I have underneath the dash, and it would loop underneath the battery and then come up the front side with that alternator starter power wire. They came together and met on top of the battery. And that's how I ran those. But now with this Ktuned harness, I'm gonna leave this power wire that's running from the fuse box to the battery, and then the other power wire will run through the harness onto the starter, and then I'll make a short daisy chain from the starter to the alternator. That way I'll have less wires. I won't have the one big wire running around the side of the engine like that. And here's how my engine harness goes through the firewall. It will come off the back of the valve cover here, drop down on the side of the header, and then it goes in through the OEM spot right here. All I did was take this grommet out and like cut a little slit in the bottom of it, so that way I could feed the wires through, or the wire harness through it. And then I just used electrical tape, as you can see, and taped it back up, put a zip tie on the end as a just in case. So it's in there just like OEM. All right, I guess I'll try to walk you guys through wiring up this car. I mean, it's super simple with the way that I did it, because I have a Wireworks conversion harness for the 96-98 chassis, not an EM1. And with both my Wireworks harness that was on the car and the Ktuned harness, I mean, it's gonna be all direct plug and play for me. So it's super simple, but some people want to see it anyway, so I guess I'll show you. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back through that OEM grommet. So just kind of pry it up and get it out of there. So that way you can make that little cut in it to work the harness around it. You see that? You see how I actually did that? I cut that thing in half like that, so I could just slip it right around the engine harness. And then I'd, use electrical tape around it and some zip ties to hold it in place and make it look nice and clean like stock. So that's really just how simple it was to route it through there. There we are.
It is a great mistake.
All right, so I got both harnesses laid out side by side.
It is
Don't mind the Wireworks harness having all that snake action going on. I mean, it has been in my car for years and years, so it's just kind of bent to shape and just like that. But overall, both harnesses are like, I wouldn't say identical, but they're extremely close. I mean, they're made for the same engine setup and blah, 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 but there's very little differences between them. The main thing you'll notice is the sleeving. Sleeving on the Wireworks one, this is a Wireworks Stage 1. They also offer mil spec and things like that. And you have this heat resistant sleeving over here for the Ktuned one. And main difference, Ktuned label is at that point. Wireworks one is further back, closer to the battery area. But they're the same. I mean, your main plugs, still here, same thing, main plugs. This is for your fuse box. Same thing here on the fuse box. A little bit longer wire for the Ktuned one. So that way, if you keep the fuse box in the bay or you relocate it underneath the dash like I have it, it's gonna fit no problem at all. I had no issue fitting the Wireworks one either. So I mean, everything's nice and clean. Ktuned has the labels on it. When I got the Wireworks harness, I chose to have no labels. You can get it with labels and in different colors and things like that. I just wanted no labels just because I thought it made it look a little more sleek, it kind of blended in a little more because there's really no yellow in there or anything. But you know, the little yellow labels doesn't really stand out that much, especially when you look at them like this. It's a small difference besides the main label. So yeah. The Ktuned harness actually is a little bit more bendable than this is. This little mesh sleeving is kind of hard to work with. And if you really need something really adjustable, then you want to go with the mil spec, because mil spec stuff is really thin and you can work that around the engine a lot better if you're really, really trying to tuck it. All right, now let me get this thing off the floor and get it in the car. One thing to consider before installing is your injectors and the injector clips.
Not this.
What they
Not
come
any
pre-installed with on the Ktuned harness is RDX injector clips. Because a lot of people doing a K-swap, they start off with RDX injectors because OEM and it's simple, you know, a good starting point. They're like 410cc injectors.
Non-conceptual.
But anyway, I have some 650s on mine, so I have to switch out these clips to my injector clips. Process is easy. First thing I gotta do is take out this little locking tab, this little white tab. See, there's like a small little notch right here on the bottom. Just
Is not empty.
pry from there and just pop that part out, the little lock part
So in
out
the
of
same
it,
way, the state of mind of the person who
just like that. Then on the inside here, there's like a small little tab that holds the pin in place. So it's right inside of there.
everything.
Just press that tab and then you can pull the wire out of the back. Simple as that. Installation is the reverse of that. Well, bad news for me. Well, I don't know, not really bad news, but just another roadblock for me. My injector clips, they actually use a totally different little terminal than these. These are the ones on the Ktuned harness. I can't use these right here. They don't fit my injector clips. And I don't have any spare terminals, so that means I need to go back to the parts store to try to get some. So that way I can actually finish this whole thing. But I'll probably just put the harness on anyway, just so it's on and out of the way, and then I can do all the terminals and stuff like that with it still on the engine. So that's where I am now. This sucks, man. All right, so like before, I have the engine harness going back through the OEM hole. I'll do the grommet and stuff like that later on. First thing I start with is usually the VTEC solenoid. So you have that one, which is a small plug, and then the VTEC pressure switch. If you have a JDM motor, I believe it doesn't have a VTEC pressure switch. So this one will just be extra. Then from there, the harness just kind of fits as it goes, you know, like all the plugs kind of line right up, so it's pretty easy to find out where everything goes. Next one down is your VTC, which is right here on the side of the engine.
Is called Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which means literally non-conceptual. It is a great mistake to confuse it with nothingness.
And then
It
you
is
have
rather be thought of as
your
space,
oil
light
pressure,
space.
which is a little nipple on the back side of the engine, and the crank position sensor, which is all the way down at the bottom, closer to the timing chain
So in the
tensioner.
same way, the state
From
of
here,
mind
things should start to get pretty obvious and easy. You got your valve cover ground. It's going to go to this stud right here.
it contains
Then the coil packs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then since it's a tucked harness, everything is kind of draped and already just flows right along right where it should be for everything else. So you see, as soon as it comes off the head, then you have your next ones here that are going to go right here on the side of your head. They're already just hanging right there. So it gets really, really obvious when you're trying to connect everything together. You have your intake and your exhaust side. The exhaust side has a green wire and the intake has a blue wire. So if you have an OEM harness or something like that and you don't know which one goes to which, that's how you can tell. Blue wire up front, green wire in the back. As you start getting things wired up like this, Then you can take your time to kind of like work the harness into these areas like this, so it'll sit more flush and stuff like that, and it'll stay hidden. That's why my other harness had like those bends to it. It was like once I got it in place, you kind of lock it in place like that, then it'll stay nice and tucked away. So then, yeah, once you work off the head, work your way down here, connect all the trans up next. And like I said, everything starts to become self-explanatory. You see like you got the longer wires, obviously going to the further away sensor, the close sensor right there. You got the one in the back of the trans for the vehicle speed sensor. Stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty straightforward at this point. Well, it looks like I'm gonna stop there for now because there's a few other things I still have to do. I forgot like all the little differences that I have with my engine and stuff like that. Like, for instance, I have a K24 knot sensor, which I have to wire in and add that to my harness, switch that out. I have to fix the injector clips that I have for mine since I have 650cc injectors.
Not this.
It's the middle of the night and I just don't feel like deep pinning everything and stuff right now. Plus, I need some more
The highest state of
terminals and stuff like
consciousness
that
in
too.
samadhi
So,
is called
gotta make a store run, so I might as well
samadhi,
just call it a night for now.
which means
See you on the
literally
next one.
non-conceptual.